What is up, everybody? We are here with the Traitors OCG podcast covering episode 7. We're here with Bang Guy, Rita, Aspen, Meg, and the special guest of the season, Mike, who was just eliminated a week ago. How's everybody doing?
We were
Doing
rooting
great.
for you.
Yeah, so I hear.
Yeah, the podcast was rooting for you, I will say. Well,
We were.
per usual, I'm going to start with ups and downs. I need everybody's one up because I probably know who the down is going to be. So what is everybody's one up for the week?
I'm going to up Raven.
You know, I'm gonna second that. I was between two, but I decided before I was gonna go with Raven.
All right.
I look at this like a stock market. I have everybody down after this week. I think literally across the board. But the person who's down the least for me, surprisingly, is Dar.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I second that. I don't know. I don't have written up really.
Huh. Okay. Well, I also yeah, damn. Oh my God, who is my up? This is about to come as the biggest surprise, but I'm actually going to give my up to motherfucking
Lori.
Oh really? That's a shocker. Did not see that coming.
That is shocking.
Well, remind me to ask you why. But let's go to everyone's down of the week. One down.
Anthony.
Yep.
You know?
I'm gonna jump on the Anthony train. Yep.
I mean, there was parts where I was thinking it, but I gotta give it to Jason. Like, even counting Lauren, who I think is about to get voted out, I'm still gonna give it to Jason.
Now, is this bitterness?
No, I'll be happy to give my reasonings. I think it's pretty valid, but
Yeah,
I'm
actually with Mike on this. I'm gonna go Jason.
All right. Well, since Mike is here, you just got eliminated. Watching this episode back, what was your expectation and what was your biggest takeaway?
my expectation was pretty well met in that they didn't seem to arrive to any proper conclusions, hardly, with one notable exception being the one reason I gave Raven an up, is she's keyed on to somebody. It's not the traitor that everybody should be keyed on to, because they were handed it on a silver platter, but she did key on to it. Is it too little too late? We will see. But this was about exactly how I expected, where I thought it would end up falling onto Lauren, like it certainly looks like it's going to. However, I did not expect there to be a successful save. I will hand the faithful that, I suppose, or maybe take points away from the Traitors on that, because I didn't see that coming. I didn't think it would happen for like this season, to be honest with you. But yeah.
We might as well start with that, because that was the biggest part of the episode, I guess, was the save. Why? I guess whoever wants to talk about the Traitors getting to voting out Anthony. They went through a lot of people, started with Drea, then it went to Raven, and then Anthony. I feel like somebody else was discussed too that I'm forgetting. But thoughts on the Traitors making this last minute decision for Anthony?
Elle's logic was so good. She had it keyed in perfectly. It should have been Raven or Drea. That's what it should have been. And she so perfectly spoke the reason why. Like, they were insulated by Anthony and Lori. So why are you going to get rid of Anthony? So I think it was a horrible switch, having nothing to do with him being saved. It was just a very, very illogical switch. That could end up having some pretty big ramifications on the game. Like Elle should have definitely pushed for Raven.
Yeah, I don't know why she let Darth strong arm her like that when he has no fucking valid reasons, or he's just like, you know what I mean? Let's go for like, what?
Just a plot twist.
Like
that was the only reason.
Yeah, I mean, I will give him this. If I was a traitor in their shoes, it's very clearly that Anthony has a lot of agency and is very well connected. And if Anthony wants to put the vote on you, there's a good chance that you will get voted out at this stage with the people that are left. I would want that out of the game unless I was 100% sure that I was nowhere on his radar and wasn't about to be on his radar. I actually would argue that it was a smart decision.
Yeah, I didn't think it was a bad decision because Anthony has like all of the say right now with everything, and he's in everyone's ears. So, and I feel like it would have been fun to watch them scramble a little bit because he's like the one making all the decisions right now. So,
I
It
mean,
seemed like he
you're
had
not
their back
wrong.
though.
He is in everyone's ear, but he's not giving the right information. So from the Traitors standpoint, why would you want him out? Because he is just continually pushing for other faithfuls to be voted
yeah.
out.
Yeah, no, yeah. From the Traitors' standpoint, yeah, definitely. Like they could have just got rid of Dre or Raven.
Yeah, he is so wrong. Not arguing that he's not so wrong. However, if he becomes right and he gets on a tangent about something else, like God forbid you talk about an individual game and he comes on to you,
Yeah.
you're in trouble. I would not want that in the game because that's a factor I cannot control unless
That's
I was
true.
like, this guy's my ally. Like me and
Yeah.
him are like this. And like Elle thinks that him and her are like this, I think. Because she kept saying he's a part of her alliance or group or whatever. But like when I was out, I said he's the last faithful that can make something happen. And I think it's actually a good idea to get him out. It failed, but it was, I think, sound.
Yeah, everyone's looking at him for decision making. So yeah, I agree with Mike. I mean, Raven though, I feel like if they would have got Raven out, that would have shook Anthony more, which maybe would have made his decision making like a little bit more like I don't know.
Oh, he
more
would have
off
been on
from
the
what
same
it is.
track. How could he be more off? He still would be going for Lauren. He would be
Yeah.
going for Lauren even harder. But
Yeah.
I think they had a good reasoning behind it.
Yeah.
Why do you all think Al is kind of passive as a traitor? Because it was happening with Ashley, and then here again with Dar. Dar changes her mind. Is this her weakness as a traitor?
I don't know, to be honest. Like she could just take the reins. And I think this is twice now that Dar has recommended someone. Which is really surprising.
I definitely think this murder was better for Dar than Elle if it had succeeded, but the reasoning was a little sound, and I do think that there's some value as a traitor to keeping your fellow traitors happy because you don't want them coming for you, like genuinely coming for you. So I can see why she would do that. I don't know that 100% passivity, which she has shown time and time again, is going to serve her well heading into this end game, where she needs to keep her relationships as a traitor sound so that it doesn't turn on her.
Yeah.
I think Elle's having a similar problem that Lauren's having, just based on like how many chats you see her in compared to a lot of the other cast members. I don't think Elle's getting a ton of chats, so I don't think her agency can be as high as a lot of the other players. I think that's probably one of the reasons she's playing it a little passive, is because her hands are kind of tied in some sense due to that.
But playing it passive with Dar though, like I don't know. Because she talks to him more than anything. So
Yeah, how can you be more passive than Dar?
yeah.
I do think Al had a pretty good read going too, but
She came into that Traitors conversation kind of planned out with what she wanted to say and what she wanted to do and her reasons behind that, but she just quickly fell and let him take control.
Yeah.
now Meg, you haven't been here. Your pal Lauren had some trouble last week. What did you make of her game last week coming into this week?
It's predictable for Lauren.
Why do you say that?
Aw.
She's not somebody that can hide her feelings. So I knew that she was going to struggle with that. Like I texted her this too when I was watching the episode. That whole conversation with Jason bringing it up and was it the round table or like with the whole group was so unnecessary. That conversation should have happened later in private. And her reason to me was that she wasn't getting chats. And I said, well, then you request your chat with him if that's who you need to talk to. But yeah, she came in hot this episode with she just somebody in the chat said she's having a big brother spiral, and that's exactly what was happening. So I think she kind of recognized that her game was over, so she was just going to let it be known that she wasn't happy with that. And I mean, at this point, what can you do when you're not being requested for chats? There was no way to save herself, so I think she was thinking this is her, I don't know, her only way to handle it. But she's so tunnel visioned on Raven, so tunnel visioned on her. And I don't know why, really. I think that she just got a bad vibe from her from the beginning. I think Raven's also not really like Lauren's type of person. So I think she just caught her from the beginning and was like, she's a traitor. I don't like her. And focused in.
Yeah, even
All
though
right.
Elle is the one throwing out her name.
Here, here's where I come to Lauren's defense, at least a little bit. Because, even thinking about who to put down, I'm like, should I put Lauren down? Because she's about to probably be voted out. And then I'm like, nah, I'm not going to put Lauren down. I don't think she played the worst game from the position that she started the episode in and ended the episode in. What is she supposed to do?
Yeah.
No one is giving her a chance. Legitimately, not a single person on this cast is giving her a chance. And to me, that is a thumbs down to all of them. She is logically telling them exactly what is happening. Is she wrong about who's a traitor? Absolutely. But she is saying that the traitors have kept me here because they know that you all are going to vote me out. And she is so right.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, no one is giving her a chance. Anthony, and this really bothered me, she comes into the chat and he's just like, it's like, I'm out. I can't deal with this. And then he comes in and says it like essentially right in front of her too. Man, that's just got to feel bad as you're coming into a chat and like they're bad mouthing you in that way. Like, I give people the time of day. That bothered me. Like, I get it. You're planning on voting someone out. Maybe you don't want to spend your time talking to them, but there are ways to handle that with tact. And that was not it.
I
and
think
it just,
she could have worked closer with you. And I think she could have been a good teammate for Anthony if he wasn't so dead set on her being a traitor. I think they also could have worked well together at some point. But she's also been saying this to the people in the cast literally the entire show is nobody wants to talk to me. Nobody wants to work with me. I'm trying. She even said it in the interrogation when they were asking about working together as a group, and Anthony spun that into his story of her saying she wants to work as an individual. That's not what she said. She said, I'm playing an individual game now because nobody is coming to me, so what am I supposed to do about it? So, I would think that somebody would go to her, and I honestly thought maybe Drea, but now Drea is kind of pointing the finger at her too. But what are you going to do when you're not talking to anybody? You're basically not in the game. And I mean, none of that. Well, Fan Guy, you had the one.
It feels bad, man. It hurts your feelings when you're not getting chats. So it's already rough enough to like not get any chats. But I 100% agree with everything both of you just said. Because like, not only are you sure, like to some degree, her feelings are hurt that no one wants to play with her and that no one's giving her chats. But on top of that, they're going to be rude about it to her face. Like, that's just kind of, messed up, man.
Well, and Drea too, to call her out and be like, oh, you get more bees with honey. Who was the one going off on the group like 2 or 3 episodes ago? What are you talking about?
Drea, be quiet, because you don't know nothing about no honey.
That was ridiculous. That was ridiculous.
This whole group has been a mess, so no one can fucking talk about anybody being a mess. Like
nothing she said was either rude or wrong. She was dead on the money, and they all acted like she just like came in there and like freaked out over nothing. Every word of what she said, except if she mentioned who the traitor was true.
Yeah.
Every single word. And these faithful are allergic to the truth.
Well, and she wasn't even freaking out or like yelling at Betty. I know Lauren very, very well, better than myself, honestly. And she could have done a lot more. Like, Lauren is not somebody to bite her tongue. And she did not come in screaming and yelling. She came in like, well, I know I'm going tonight. You're asking me, what do I think? What the fuck does it matter what I think? You're all voting for me. I have nothing to say. Like, what do they want her to say? Is she supposed to throw somebody under the bus on her way out? Like, and so that they can just target her more for something else? Like, let the girl be.
This is similar to the situation with Mike, where I legitimately think half these people don't even think she's a traitor. Like the same exact thing that I said about Mike getting voted out was like,
I disagree this time.
Well, but Anthony's the one who believes she's a traitor, and Anthony's the one who I legitimately think believes she's a traitor, but he's driving the entire train. Like she hasn't done anything that would imply
The only thing she's done is offend his boo-boo in the game. Like, let's be honest, like it's a popularity game. She doesn't like Raven. He's like, oh, automatic out. Like, there's no other reason why this should be suspicious. So,
Because he just trying to save Raven because she calling him a pretty boy and just is like, oh my god, you're so pretty.
Like she's feeding that ego big time, and he's like, I know.
I don't understand why they're targeting her so hard when Mike gave very clear reasoning as to why he thought Dar was a traitor, and he was correct in every single reason that he gave. He's trying to look up facts. Mike is a freaking lawyer, and you're going to ignore his like research, and or maybe not a lawyer yet, are you?
Law school, same thing.
But I mean, in a game like this, I would have immediately teamed up with Mike and been like, all right, Mike, I'm following you. You tell me what's going on, because this is literally what you're trying to do as a career. And then you have Lauren, who's not talking to anybody. Elle, I don't understand how her name is not in anybody's mouth but Raven. Lori, who takes notes, but her notes don't do jack shit for her.
Yeah. And that's why, like, I couldn't really put someone up, because why weren't they right after Mike got out? Okay, we need to look at Dar. Like, we need to, like, figure out what the hell's going on with this. Like, there's just no logic behind anything that they're doing. It's all feeling and who is boo-booing who and blah, 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 blah. So
no, and you even have Jason who's saying, I don't have to give you my opinion again, my theory again. We all know what it is, and it's not me. You know, it's got to be one of the attorneys. Oh, but there's not a lot of guys left in the game, so I'm not going to vote him out.
That was so, oh my God, dude.
That shit was cringe. That shit was so cringe. I'm like,
sorry,
Jason.
Nick, we're just like, I know you have like a process for how you want to go through it.
Yeah, I was going to circle to that. I have two comments on the Lauren thing that people are probably going to disagree with, but I don't care. I'm so sick of hearing about, oh, if you don't get chats, it's so hard. If you don't get chats, your social game sucks in the game. Like, I'm sorry. It's true fangirl.
No,
you came into
it's a popularity contest.
It's not.
It is
what happened. Let me talk. In Little Brother,
game right off the bat.
In Little Brother, bad guy came into the game with people that he played with before. Some people didn't want to work with him, but some people saw him be a bitter juror, so that made your social game much harder coming into that game. That's what happened to you in Little Brother. Now, I do think there's ways to fix that, and I think the perfect example of fixing your social game not getting chats was actually Mike in the online battle, who was just at one point during the season, he was so ostracized. So what did he do? He tried to work with other people who were ostracized. Now, at this point in the game, I think it's way too late for Lauren to find other people that are ostracized, because it's probably Dar, who maybe gets as little chats as she does, so that's not going to really work for you. But maybe earlier in the game, maybe she should have tried to work with someone like Amancio, Amy, the quiet people that were also ostracized. I just don't know. I'm sick of hearing this excuse.
Realistically, social game is just a popularity contest. That is exactly what social game is. People who have a good social game, people just like them. If you just like somebody, you're going to want to work with
people
them.
like Dot are much more likable. That's why he always gets a ton of
Dot has Anthony is this season's Dot. Like, you saw how many chats he got on this episode.
Yeah.
But there's other people like Alex, people like even I would say Jason, maybe not the most popular, but they always got like consistent chats, like a few chats each night. There's different ways to do it. And even in real games, like when people are feeling like they're untrustworthy, they suddenly get ostracized in Big Brother all the time. So it's similar to real games. Like we see it on live feeds all the time. Anyway, that's been bugging me for weeks.
More chats.
Yeah, but then there's not enough time, and the games last long as it is.
I really don't think requesting chats can fix tunnel vision, though. Not with this group. Like, this group is just so gung-ho on wanting to vote certain people. Like, they have not switched up, and even with stuff coming at them, like, I don't even think like a chat would fix it at this point. Like, I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. I think Lauren could have had the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with every person in this game this episode. I don't think she could have dug herself out of this hole.
Yeah.
Like, no one is listening to facts and reasoning. They're just not. They're just straight up not. Anthony got a brilliant new piece of information that he could have done anything in the world that he wanted to with, that he was nearly murdered. And he stuck with the same exact target that he had last round.
Which made no sense. His whole theory didn't even make any sense. I couldn't even follow how he came up with what he. Oh, there's two people, and I know one went back to the other. I'm like, no, you talked about
Did
Lauren
that
every
happen?
single conversation.
Did Drea and Lauren ever talk to each other? Did you tell this to one of them? I don't remember this.
I couldn't clock it what the fuck he was talking about. He was just like thinking that he had this whole like brilliant plan, and he didn't even do it with everyone. He did it with a couple of people, and that's why it was hard to track whatever the fuck he was saying. Like,
None of his theories make sense.
Yeah.
You want to work by yourself instead of the group? You must be a trick. He doesn't make any. His logic makes no sense.
He's got some brilliant strategies that include fake note taking when you're claiming you're doing your kid's homework. And what was it this episode? Oh, he told Drea to act like you have no clue what's going on. That'll throw him for a loop. That'll get him out. He's got strategies. He's just wrong. And like
I also don't like his theory of like Nick putting like, oh, the traitors did this. Like, obviously, it's going to be a plural traitors no matter how many there are. So
I agree.
Put too much like stock into that.
Why are you like, my thing is with Anthony is like, why are you the only one that's able to like clock that? Because if it was anyone else, if it was Lauren, oh my God forbid, she's a traitor automatically, but you're safe, you're fine, it's okay. Like, I know.
No, why is nobody looking at him and being like, why? Maybe you're a traitor. You're the one that seems to be pushing all of this information and pushing the way that the votes go.
Yeah, I would really
why they voted me out.
I really want to see someone challenge him, and no one has challenged him yet. So, because he would not know how to handle that.
Nobody will.
Yeah,
he's been challenged, just not exactly directly. When he was going after Lauren in the round table, I don't know how much of it made the edit, but I was telling everybody who was going after Lauren and Lauren who was going after Raven, like, you guys are all wrong. It's Dar. And it doesn't matter. He didn't freak out on me. He didn't turn his vote onto me, but he also didn't change his mind at all. Like,
but I don't know. Has anyone
stubborn.
ever directly said that, hey, Anthony, I think you're a traitor?
Well, Lauren, this episode, right?
Did she?
Well, she voted for
I guess
him.
I don't know that was I think you're a traitor vote. I think that's a middle finger. Like, I know I'm going out and it's your fault to an extent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony was the next. I guess I can't really defend Anthony, but I'll say this, that I think what happened is that he already had the tunnel vision for Lauren, and then he's saved, so he thinks, wow, I have to be right. I mean, they know I'm onto Lauren, so that's why they try to take me out. And so who did I talk to? It has to be someone I talked to that's working with Lauren. I guess that was his logic.
I say if there's one person I don't want to play a game with on this game, it would be him.
So make him your partner in like a challenge.
Dead.
I don't know about all that.
I think he would be good at a game where you didn't have traitors versus whoever. Like, dude's social game is on point, and like, he's clearly got a lot of agency and the ability to get people to trust him. So many people in this game trust him.
He needs to learn how to listen, though. He does not know how to listen.
Absolutely needs to learn how to listen. But like, you can also win a game without listening to anybody. You can just barrel at people over the whole game. If everybody loves and trusts you, you can get to the end. That's the thing. But he's just he's so wrong. It's not even funny. And
that's why I would not be able to play with him. Not be able to get behind his gameplay.
No, it's cringe.
He's just so clueless, and it's not what he's doing that's wrong, but like his reasonings for doing what he's doing are just so illogical. Him and Jason, neck and neck. I can't figure out which one is more illogical with the reasoning behind what they're doing. It's close.
Both of them.
And they are both very illogical. Like, very, very, very illogical with their reasonings. Like, believe what you want. Like, you know, if you think someone's a traitor, you're entitled to feel that way. But like, have some sort of logic behind it.
But where's
Like,
I don't
where-
understand why
where's your
Jason
notes?
wouldn't be pushing Dar right now. Why would you not be pushing Dar? Like, hey, Mike was saying Dar, Dar, Dar. We got Mike out because we thought he was a traitor, and guess what? He was a faithful. There's only 2 returnees left in the game now, me and Dar, and I know I'm not a traitor. So best case, scenario is we get Dar out and he's a traitor. Why? But because there's too many guys in the game, I don't understand. What does that matter?
Well, in regards to Jason, do you think that he thinks he's close enough to Dar that if he is a traitor, it might help him?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I'll believe it when he says it in a confessional and doesn't just claim that retroactively. Because like I had that logic and I claimed it and like in my, you know what I mean? Like that was my strategy. I don't know that he is putting that level of thought into it.
He's not. All Jason talks about are his feelings and how other people made him feel in the game. He literally just talks about himself every conversation.
Not to mention, he's the only person who's mentioned the returnee thing, and it's just him and Dar left, and Dar knows this. So why is Dar going to trust you, even if you're not banging the drum? You've already put that into the ether. So like,
And yet, to defend my down and the player I think is playing the worst game, Jason, to defend him, Dar did not want to murder him. Straight up, he didn't. So to give him that, he's not wrong there.
I can't get behind Jason's play at all.
No,
Sorry. I
no.
just
Oh,
can't.
don't get me
No.
wrong,
I was
it's
trying, but
terrible.
no.
But on that
No.
one point, he's not wrong. And okay, and a little more, because there's one other thing that I agree with him on, is that, yeah, his game was centered a lot around me. Like, me and him were, like, in lockstep, and he was listening to a lot of things I was saying, and I was dictating a lot of things. He's not wrong that, like, maybe he got sick of that and voted me out so he could, like, play his own game.
But
he's
couldn't
absolutely
have communicated that to you? Like,
well,
that's like
he communicated that to me by voting me out after his big dramatic speech.
But isn't this the second time in a row that Jason's turned his back on his own people?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he's in it for himself, which is great in a game like Survivor. But at the same time, dude, you do need to get the Traitors out to win. Like, I made some selfish decisions early on when I thought it was Jason and didn't go after him. I was wrong, but I was still playing a little selfishly. You're getting a little too late in the game. If this is your strategy with Dar, to be doing this, it's getting a little too
yeah,
close.
and you were doing that early in the game. We're now late in the game, and they
Mhm.
haven't gotten anywhere. It's time to get one out. Like, that's the point.
Yeah.
And I'm going to second what Mike said about Anthony about Jason, which is I actually disagree with Mike. I think Jason is the one faithful who still has a chance somehow to pull this together for the faithfuls, because he's the only person that apparently has the logic to realize that a returnee, he should know. Jason at this point should know that Dar is a traitor. And the traitor war, after what happened at the end of this episode, is going to start. One of these 2 traitors is now going to get voted out very soon. And if it's L, Jason is the only person left in this game that has the capability and to get Dar out. I don't think anyone else is going to do it.
Yeah, but he doesn't want to be the only guy.
I don't think Jason has the agency to do this because L has placed the seeds of Jason being a target this episode. And so far, when L speaks, people listen, whether they know it's coming from her or not. Because how many episodes ago was it that she planted the seeds of Lauren? And look at where Lauren is in the game. She is a dead man walking. And Jason, I think, is going to be the next person on that plate. Everyone, and like, also, the dude's conversations are terrible. He's in a chat with Anthony and Lori, and I don't remember what it was they said, but he's like, well, I just want to make sure you guys know that I'm not a traitor. And it's like, he's so unnecessarily defensive. So unnecessarily defensive. I disagree with Fanguy. I don't think he has the agency to pull off any moves himself. Now, if he gets on a train of Anthony's, fine, whatever. But like, I'm sorry, I don't think he has it.
It's because he just cares about getting himself to the end. He's not playing a group game like the Traitors is, where you have to work with other faithfuls. He's worried about going as far as he can to the end and not getting murdered or voted out. He's not worried about voting out actual traitors, or else the whole gender thing wouldn't matter.
Because why would you even bring that shit up?
Yeah,
Who
it makes no
cares?
sense
I
whatsoever.
fear it's PTSD from it's another OCG PTSD because in Survival for the alliance of Ashley, Mary, Susan got him out of the game. He felt like it was girls versus guys, him and Dom. I think that's what happened.
Yeah, in an
He need to deal with his
alliance-based game, but this can't be like it's not really a game based on alliance. It's a game based on fact and mystery and you
Yeah.
know.
And he got himself out of season 4. They didn't get him out. He did it to
Yeah.
himself. The same way, if he gets out of this game, he did it to himself again when he voted for Mike. This guy has, it's like his MO at this point to make the most illogical decisions about who you're going to vote out. It's what he does. He preaches loyalty, and then he shows himself to be the most non-trustworthy ally you could possibly have. How anyone would ever be able to trust him in any game ever would be beyond me based on what we've seen his first 2 seasons play. And I know you're watching this, Jason. I'm sorry. I love you as a person, but dude,
he's still gonna vote you, mate. He's still gonna come for you for that one.
Yeah,
Ask me how I know.
He can come for me. He don't want this smoke. We've seen how that shit ends up for people who come
And
for
it's not the world's worst strategy either. The problem is like, dude, in the game, people are losing trust in you. L, who, if you need anybody at this stage to trust you, and he doesn't know to what extent, she walked away from that conversation being like, I can't trust this guy anymore.
Yeah.
Like, he played that terribly, which is another reason that I put him down. Like, that was a failure of a conversation.
It's because he's so concerned with his feelings, which is exactly what Meg said. He's just so focused on his feelings that he's not taking into account anything else that's happening around.
Yeah. I'm just, yeah. I'm nothing to say about his gameplay. It's awful.
Any quick final thoughts on Anthony, Jason? We got to move on to some other people.
both
right.
terrible.
Yep.
We'll move on to
Well said.
Lori. That is who you put up, Aspen. Would you like to explain why this is your shocking up of the week?
I mean, she just nobody said her name, and she did to me like the least worst. Like, but somebody please take that fucking notebook and throw it in the goddamn garbage. Throw it away. Everybody's like, Lori takes notes, so she knows. She knows what's going on because she has a notebook and she can go back.
But she don't know shit.
She doesn't at all.
Like, literally be going back and reading the notes, but then be fucking wrong.
I just got this mental picture of Aspen ripping the notebook and throwing it on the ground and just starting to jump on it. Like, I just have this mental picture.
I have this picture of Aspen just having a lighter and just like staring at her while burning.
I light my blunt and then I'll light her notebook on fire.
I spent the first 10-ish minutes of the episode thinking maybe I'll put Lori up this week. But like, with her notes and everything, has she one time provided anything of substance towards finding a single traitor, even if it was incorrect? Has she ever brought anything up, or has she just latched on to what Anthony, Dar, and others have told her? It's just like, I think, is playing a good game in the sense of she's not going to get murdered, probably, potentially. She's not going to get voted out, I think.
Right.
But like, she's not going to win, because she's not going to get a traitor out, because her notes have done nothing. She has taken no actual evidence of anything.
Like, who cares if you write down every single thing that everybody says? Who fucking cares?
Right. It's super great, but like, is that at all useful if you never bring it up? Because I was able to go back through my notes after the Ashley stuff and tell me exactly what Ashley said. So like, I took that information into account. She doesn't even take the information from Faithfuls or Traitors getting eliminated. Not one time has she been like, well, this Faithful said this about this. Maybe they were right. She has never said this Traitor said this about this. That was clearly a misdirection. Like, she was not bringing that up either. She mentioned it after I mentioned it publicly. But like, nothing. And it's so frustrating because she's trying. But like, have some agency. You need to get a traitor out at some point.
And girl, how in the hell are you sitting right here still defending Dar after all of that? You still are like, but Dar ain't no traitor. I don't think he no traitor. He ain't no traitor. He ain't. Somebody said Dark could have traitor written on his fucking forehead, and people would be like, "Quit playing."
Her and Raven have not accused anybody of being a traitor. Like they are just for whatever.
Well,
reason,
Raven now has.
Raven
has
got more.
Raven has because Lauren like made her feel.
No, she's also
some type of
accusing
way.
Al.
She's on to Al, which is
No,
why
she's
I was
right.
But
She's
has
got
she said
100%
Elle's name
accuracy.
has she said Elle's name more than Lauren's?
Yeah.
Yeah, she never said Lauren's
Yes,
name. She never
okay.
voted or said her name.
No, because
Okay.
she's scared of Lauren
I
for
just-
whatever reason.
My husband came in last night when I was watching the episode, and he saw snippets of the season with Jason and Dar just as I'm watching it, and he's seen snippets of this one. He doesn't really watch it, but he was like, "Who are the traitors?" And I told him, and he was like, "Well, obviously Dar would be a traitor. He's like the perfect traitor." So this guy who like hardly knows anything about what is going on can clock it right there immediately.
Dar would have been one of my first vote outs, bro.
vote out.
Like, I'm sorry. There's no way. There's no
I got a lot to say about Dar when we get to that.
He looks so guilty too, y'all. He looks.
He
so
looked guilty in this episode. I agree.
Especially when Drea was like, "Well, maybe Mike was like, and you're the traitor," and he's like, "No."
Do you have any other thoughts on Flory though before we move on?
Girl, throw that notebook away and go ahead.
I think Lori makes the end. I will say I do think Lori is going to be there in the final episode.
I can see
agree.
that.
I do too, but I think,
when
like
the
Mike
faithful
said, she's not gonna
inevitably
win.
lose. Lori's going to be one of the losing faithful.
I can see
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah, because Dar's gonna be standing right next to her.
Yep.
Yep. She dragging them all the way to the end.
Hey, respect to Lori though, is she's loyal. She's got the loyalty part down. She doesn't have the finding the traitors part of the game down. I'll give her that. People like and trust her. That's great. That's great for getting you to the end. You just need to actually use your notes. You were this close.
Yeah.
There were some ups for Raven. What other thoughts on Raven? Fan guy, we might as well start with you. She had, I don't even know what it's called, Palo Santo instead of whatever you talk about, instead of Sage. Her chakras were open.
no.
And I will say her chakra, she had a premonition. She said that they were coming after her or Anthony. She was spot on. So
She is a witch. She is a true, honest to goodness witch. Like, I
Facts.
fully
She's a
believe this.
fake witch.
You know, she's got like the moon tattoo. Like, well,
She's a wannabe witch.
Fair enough.
This is why I miss Meg. This is exactly why I missed Meg right here.
I won't argue with that. She is a true wannabe witch.
You do know it's trending right now to be a witch, right?
Yeah.
I've never heard this.
Everybody want to be a
I have
witch.
a moon tattoo and a black cat tattoo. Does that make me a witch?
Meg a witch.
Listen, some of us were emo before that shit became a trend.
All I got on Raven is that she's on to L, which she doesn't really
And-
explain why she's on to L, but she is. So good for her.
And she avoided being murdered, which wasn't really like her doing, but she did seem to skate by that, and they switched over to Anthony. And the person that's coming after her the hardest is probably about to be voted out. So nobody else has her name in their mouth besides Lauren. So
I just want her to stop giving Anthony compliments and start like pushing into that boy and saying, "Hey, we need to look at Elle. We need to look at Dar. You know, like we need to look at these people instead of just like, you're so sweet."
I mean, she did bring it up though, but Anthony didn't listen.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
No,
because
yeah, I mean, she
her
tried.
Her tone
Because he's
is
busy
so-
doing the same thing. You're so pretty. I'm so
Yeah.
pretty. Let's just be pretty together.
He needs.
I have a shirt that
very,
says I'm
like,
pretty.
He needs a diplomatic tone. He needs a harsh tone
Ah.
to be yelling at him. Not
There's
like
so
saying
much
he's pretty.
negative energy flying through the air. I don't even need to be a witch
Get
to
the damn
see
dick
that.
out your
I
mouth.
know.
God,
I'll say this.
Kind of
She was
sounds like
my
some
up.
haters, actually. when it comes
She
to
she was
Traitors.
my up. Not only was she right about a traitor, but she's one of like two people in this game to be right, and have like I guess an actual reason for it. I'm not sure. She wasn't as eloquent about her reasoning, but she has like some reason behind it. I think she also was completely correct about the two people the traitors were most genuinely considering murdering. She was so spot on. Did it come to
Yeah.
her in a premonition? Whatever, sure, but she was correct. And like people who are witches or psychics, they're just people who are really good at reading things and energies and people. And that's like a legitimately useful skill. Like it's goofy. Psychics aren't real. Burning things aren't going to help you win the game. But like noticing little tiny things.
You don't
and
think her
acting like
burning
it's
it
the
saved her
spirits.
from being
No,
voted out, Mike? You don't
no,
think so?
it's not. You can't burn sage anymore. Remember, it's bad. They covered this
No,
in
it
the
was Palo
episode.
Santo. She was
Yeah,
burning Palo Santo.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
better
but I
than
don't think
sage
it
or
goes
something.
through your Wi-Fi.
But she's like spot on for this episode. You got to give her props. I do think if anyone gets murdered next, it's probably her. And
I
I'll
think her
also
biggest
say,
downfall is just being attached to Anthony then, because
yeah,
that's kind of like when I was attached to like Jason and everyone was like irritated at me for doing like stuff, but I was being loyal to him. And so I think her biggest downfall is being attached to Anthony at this point, because
but that would require people actually being irritated at Anthony. And I don't even know if that's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. Lauren's going to get voted out, and they're all going to go, Lauren must have been right about Raven. They're going to do the thing that they should have done this episode, one episode too late, if Raven doesn't get murdered. That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
Any other thoughts on Raven?
Burn your
I'll still
your
beatbox
stuff, girl.
outside of a window.
You know, it's funny. I was looking for a gym ukulele the other night. I was going to see if I could find one.
Dan, guys, she's way too young for you, bro.
I'm okay with age gap relationships.
Right. You don't know, Meg. Age is just a number.
Aspen.
No
Are
Diddy.
you
Aspen?
No Diddy. No Diddy. No Diddy.
You.
No Diddy.
Aspen, are you in an age gap relationship?
No, I say
Sometimes
hell
Aspen's
no.
like the ageist person I know.
No.
Well, how old is she? I mean, fair enough. I even have a limit.
Late 20s. She's not that young.
Yeah, like 10 years.
20?
Like, no, he said late 20s.
You're like 28.
Oh.
But you know what? It's not about the age gap. It's more of it's about the intellectual. Like if you are not on that same playing field as intellectually coherent, you know, or like compatible, then nah, bro. Nah.
Yeah, she seemed like she did a little bit too much mushrooms. She need to go get some Reiki. That's what she needs. She don't need no damn Palo Santo. She need to get Reiki. That's what she needs.
Reiki.
Let's move on to Drea before we get to the Traitors. Any thoughts on Drea this episode? Mike, she didn't seem too sad that you were eliminated.
Oh, I mean, it's not surprising. She wanted me gone. Her face when I got voted out was like pure joy. Like I'm glad that I'm not there clogging up the air feeds with my theories and logic and evidence, I guess. What I will say is like another person who's really close to having an epiphany for the 30th time this game, who just can't seem to get that last neuron to fire to make that connection, because she had the same conversation that I had with Dar, where I walked out of that conversation like, Jesus, that was awkward. I have not had a one-on-one with someone like that this entire game. What's wrong with him? And if I hadn't been on the returnee train at that point, I might have targeted him just based off that. Drea had a conversation with Dar where he played it pretty terribly, and she walked out of it going, that was awkward and weird. She didn't do anything with that yet. Maybe she will if she survives the vote and murder.
Well, Drea's on their radar, so.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. She's got two separate things that are coming for her. She's got Anthony for whatever reason, and she's got the Traitors radar too. So I'm not very enthusiastic or optimistic, about her chances.
I would love for her to go off on Anthony. That would be hilarious.
I would love to
Seems
see
like
that.
he's
That would be
over right
great.
now.
She would be the only one that would do it on this episode or on this season, to be honest. I don't know. Drea's kind of just like wasted space. I hate to say that, but
No, don't hate to say it. Say it. Say it with your chest, Rita. Say it.
That is harsh.
Say it.
She's hilarious. See,
she's
Barely.
hilarious, but what else is she doing? She's not doing anything.
being
for the
wrong.
gameplay.
It's
She was so
like
caught off
80% of
guard
the
by
faithfuls.
Ashley thing that now she's not going to do anything.
Yeah.
Sure, that could be the case.
Yeah, like she was feeling guilty about Moncio. Now she's all off-footed by Ashley. Like, what are you doing, girl?
It's going to be the final four, and she's going to be standing there going, I need to start making my own moves. It's time.
Well, she did try to make her own move. It was just her downfall so far. Any other thoughts on Drea?
Girl, move, do something.
Bye.
We'll move on to Elle. We talked about her with Jason. How do you feel her kind of throwing Jason under the bus is going?
I think it's a sound move with 90% of players in a game like this. I think with Jason that this hurt her game because as we've discussed ad nauseum at length about Jason is he's exceedingly defensive and calling him out in the same way she kind of had her one-on-one with Lauren after there was some strife is maybe not the move. This was, I think, a rough episode for Elle. She's getting some heat. She's losing her allies, as she's repeatedly said. I think her story that she's come up with, that me and her were aligned, true. That her alliance is like in danger and falling apart, sort of true. And planting the seeds of Jason was very smart. But I think most of the other things that happened to her and that she did this episode were poorly executed or are like putting her in the danger zone. And this vote from Dar is not going to help things.
What do you think this vote from? I'm sorry, Nick. Are you going to get there?
I mean, I was, but go right ahead.
What do you think? What do you guys think? Where is this vote coming from Dar? Is it because she voted for him last time? Is it like? Is that solely it? You think it was kind of come out of nowhere?
Dar is as random as Susan was. Like that's like the whole thing that people just don't really understand about Dar. He just does whatever he wants. He doesn't really have logic behind anything. I think maybe because she voted him, but I really don't think that. I think it was just to throw a vote and throw it at Elle. Like I didn't see.
Yeah,
why
I mean, in the real Traitors, right? There's a positive to getting another traitor out because the traitors who are left at the end get to keep the money. But there's no money in this game, so it can only benefit you to have another traitor there with you.
And I hate to say this about Dar, but he is that kind of player where if he wants to get out another fellow traitor, he's gonna do it. Mm-hmm. So,
well, I think he's gonna try.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. I don't think he would have voted for her had she not voted for him. I don't necessarily think it was I don't know what his reasoning is. We don't get any of his thoughts in his confessionals. We don't really understand. I read him as just a very random player, which is exactly what you guys just said. He just kind of does it off the cuff. The thing about this particular vote is it was a very polarizing move to the extent I think his voting for Elle right here has 100% guaranteed that a traitor wins this game because no one on this cast, other than Mike, who is gone, has the foresight to realize a traitor versus traitor battle could be what we're witnessing. One of them two is going to go, and whichever the one doesn't go is going to win the game. So I think in a certain sense, it was a brilliant move by Dar. The problem is it also could put him in danger. Like he was in a better spot before he made the vote as well, which is why I said in my ups and downs that everyone was down because I think the traitors collectively had like a 95% chance of winning the game before this vote. And now I think like it's like 80-20 Dar or Elle. I think one of them's going to win. One of them's going to win solo. But because of this vote, I think it overall lowered Dar's chances of winning. Because he chose to take the solo route. But this vote was brilliant and stupid all at the same time. It's pretty crazy.
Didn't they reiterate that they were going to throw each other under the bus though?
But
not like that.
I think when the opportunity presented itself, he did it out of a left field. I do disagree with one thing that you said. I think he was going to do this eventually anyways. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like he can turn at any point. Like that's like Dar is such a great player because you really don't know what he's gonna do with his moves. Like he's unpredictable. He's like a Riazzo. So I don't know.
Throw like their names in like a conversation, like, oh, maybe it could be Dar, or have you thought about Elle?
That's the way I took it.
It's gonna be like I'm gonna actually. They pulled a dot and voted for each other.
Yeah.
I just can't see the faithfuls clocking the traitor versus traitor thing. Whichever one of these traitors survives this little traitor versus traitor battle is going to be the hero. They're going to be the ones who pointed the finger at the bad guy, and that's the traitor who's going to win the game.
I will say, going back to if a traitor should go after another traitor, I only feel like you should do that if someone is like hindering the traitor's game. I don't know if Dar thinks that Al voting for him hindered his game or not, but I guess maybe we'll
Well,
find out.
since we're already on the topic of this vote, sort of, and the ramifications of the last vote, Dar was my sort of secondary up, and I think the way that he actually played the conversation with Elle about the vote, he played it really well. I was very impressed because he shared that he was irritated in his confessional, and there's really no benefit to sharing that with your fellow traitor. And then he just said, no, we're cool. So he good on him.
Well,
Oh,
any final thoughts on the traitors, Al or Dar?
Congrats on the win, one of you.
Oh, dude,
I do think I agree.
for real.
Any predictions you'd like to make for next week? Is there any
My-
way Lauren
My
survives
best
this
friend,
vote?
I think, it's her time is up.
I
R.I.P.
think there's a tiny chance that Raven votes her conscience, which is L. I just don't know where the other L vote would come from. But I think there's the smallest, tiniest sliver of chance that L gets like more than one vote, and it causes the traitors to have the traitor v traitor round next
What
episode.
about Jason voted L? That would be interesting.
You know what? Totally possible. After a 5-minute tangent about how he had his mind made up, and he was so sure about the returnees, but then his gut spoke to him, and he just had to do it.
Well, he's not voting any of the guys, so it's either Lauren or L.
or Drea.
Or yeah, Drea too.
I think they forget that Drea's in the game.
I be forgetting, so I can see
know.
how.
She's kind of like, as someone who played the game, she's kind of a non-factor, like respectfully, in the way that like once I thought she wasn't a traitor because of the me versus her into the Ashley elimination with the information that came out of that, I just like stopped thinking about Drea a lot, and I should have spent more time on Drea. I might have been able to convince her not to vote me, but like she is just so out there, and like it's so like she's not the kind of person who's making alliances except with Ashley, and now she doesn't want to do that anymore. So like it is really easy to forget about a player like Drea, to the point where I would not be surprised that the final 4 is 2 traitors, Drea and like someone else, maybe Lori.
If the traitors survive this vote, who do you think they should try to off? And should they think about the safety? Who do you think might get safety?
They should try to off Raven. I mean, we know things that I'm not 100% sure that they know, but they should try to off Raven.
L should 100% push for Raven. I'm curious to see how they get along. Sorry, Aspen, what?
I was just saying Dar should be going for Jason because they the only 2 returnees left, but I guess they don't care about
all
that
the more reason for Dar not to go for Jason. It's like, do you want to be the only returnee standing in the game with 0 traitor returnees leaving? Again, with this cast, God only knows if they would say, this is a sign that it has to be Lori all along. But, like, who knows, right? Who knows?
Do you think they would vote Anthony twice?
For safety? Absolutely, they would.
No, I mean,
because
to like get him out? I don't know.
I think they're going to be gun shy about it. I think they're going to try to go for literally anybody else.
I don't even know how they're going to get along after this vote. Like, I think the dynamic between the 2 traitors.
It's not going to be that crazy. I think. I mean, like L, I think is going to play it like Dar did, and if they're going to go for each other, it's going to be a cold war with them, pulling their individual sides together. And like, I think overall, for obvious reasons, that L has played the better game, but for whatever ununderstandable reason, more people trust Dar because he's quiet, and it can't be a quiet person because we were wrong about him months ago. So I don't know. I'd like to see it from a perspective of it would be entertaining, but like I think Dar might win that traitor war, and the only way the traitors lose this season is Dar wins the traitor war, and then for whatever reason it clicks with someone that it was Dar all along for the reasons that I already outlined. and they go for Dar, and then the faithful back into and limp into a victory that respectfully we don't deserve at this point.
Well, on that point, it's been a rough couple of weeks for the faithful. I don't know if they can recover next week. I don't know if the Traitors will beef. I guess we'll find out. As usual, I want to thank you all. Any final thoughts?
Lauren, we love you. R.I.P. Lauren.
R.I.P.
Sorry you're going, Lauren. But
You didn't get a
R.I.P.
fair shake. You did not get a fair shake. I'm sorry, you really didn't.
She'll come back another game.
And y'all better do something impressive, because don't fucking piss me off next week.
I guess I'll find out, Aspen. All right, peace out.